Hi everyone, this is Professor Oaks, and this section here is about area. Alright, so here's the first question. Find the area of a rectangle with length of 4.1 inches and a width of 1.2 inches. So I'm going to start by drawing a rectangle here. And the length, I'm going to just use L for length. That will be 4.1 IN, and IN is the abbreviation for inches, and W for width, and that will be equal to 1.2 IN for inches. All right, so of course, again, this is not drawn to scale, so I'll just call this one over here the width, so 1.2, and width 1.2, and length 4.1, and length 4.1. And now if I want to find the area, well, the area of a rectangle is just going to be the length of the rectangle times the width of the rectangle. So that will be, well, what is that going to be? Well, the length is 4.1 inches and the width is 1.2 inches. So 4.1 times 1.2 is going to be a grand total of 4.92. All right, so 4.92, and this was inches. And so area is always in square inches. All right, or you could write it as inches squared. So either is fine, but here they write it out square inches. What a time to be alive. All right, here's another one. Find the area of a square with a length of 3 centimeters. So that would mean all of the sides of this rectangle are the same. That's what a square is a rectangle with all of the lengths of the sides the same. So we'll just say that this is 3 cm because cm is the abbreviation for centimeters. So 3 cm, 3 cm, 3 cm, 3 cm. So the area of the square here is just going to be, well, length times width, so that will be 3 centimeters times 3 centimeters, so that's 9. So that will be 9 square, all right, centimeters. Centimeters. Let me make sure I spell that correctly. And that is why I usually just use the abbreviation cm squared. So square centimeters. All right, but they write it out here still as 9 square centimeters. What a time to be alive. Let's try another one here. All right, find the area of a rectangle with length of 13.9 inches and a width of 6.4 inches. So here is the rectangle, and the width is 6.4 IN for inches. So remember, IN is the abbreviation for inches. And then the length is L, so that will be 13.9 inches. So L for length again, and W for width. So width over here also 6.4 inches, length over here 13.9 inches. So the area of a rectangle is going to be the length of the rectangle times its width. So this will be 13.9 times 6.4. So 13.9 times 6.4. That gives us a grand total of 88.96. So 88.96, and you see this is in inches. So my final answer here will be in inches squared, or just, you see, you can write it as square inches. What a time to be alive. So 88.96 square inches. All right, so here is another problem here. Find the area of a triangle with the following measurement. So here is the triangle here, and the base is here, B for base and H for height. All right, so the base is 7 1/3 centimeters. So remember, cm just means meters, and then the height of this. So sometimes people write the height or the altitude of the triangle over here to the side, but really that is the same distance as if I just wrote it right down here in the middle, all right? Either is fine of how you draw it. So the area of a triangle is going to be, well, that will be 1/2 times the length of the base times the length of the height. So in this case, we have 1/2 times 7 1/3 times 5 2/3. So because this is a little bit difficult sometimes to multiply all of these mixed numbers together like this, I'm going to change them to improper fractions. So 12 times, and this will be 3 times 7 plus 1 is 21. So plus 1, so 22/3 times 3 times 5 plus 2, 15 plus 2, 17/3. So now I have, well, 1 times 22 times 17. So that is going to be, well, 374 over 2 times 3 times 3. That will be 18. All right, so 374 over 18. So what is that going to be as a reduced fraction? All right, so what number goes into both of those? Well, that would be 2. So divide by 2, divide by 2. Whoops, we ran out of room here, so let me bring up the page a little bit here. So that will be, well, 374 divided by 2 is 187, and 18 divided by 2 is 9, but you see the answers are all as mixed numbers, so 9 goes into 187. That will be 2 times 9 is 18. So that will be, well, 0. So 18 minus 18, 0. Bring down the 7. 9 goes into 7, 0 times. So we see that there's a remainder of 7. So it's 7 out of 9. So 20 and 7/9. And because the original units are in centimeters, this is centimeters squared because we're talking about area. So it's in square units. In this case, the units are centimeters, so square centimeters. So this is 20 and 7/9 square centimeters, or centimeters squared. All right, what a time to be alive. Here is the answer. So let's try another problem here. So what do we have next? We have find the area of a circle with diameter of 4.3 millimeters. And note, use 3.14 for pi. So the abbreviation for millimeter is mm. So what do we have? Well, d is going to be diameter, all right? And let's just use a for area. So if you want to find the area of the circle, that means the amount of space inside the circle. So we're trying to find the amount of space inside the circle. That's what area means, is the amount of space inside of an object or inside of a figure. So the formula for the area of a circle is going to be, there's two ways to write it. It's the way you may have heard before is pi r squared, or pi times the radius squared. Or you could use, well, what do you want to do? What else could you use? Well, here it is. Here is what else you could use. All right, so you actually could use pi, all right, times the diameter squared over 4. All right, so this is another way to do it. So you can do it either way that you want. So, well, all right, the diameter all the way across D is 4.3 millimeters. So now they say use 3.14 for pi. So 3.14 times the diameter, 4.3 squared over 4. So actually that will give me, all right, so that is going to give me 14.51465. And well, that's not one of my answers, but it's, if it's close if I round to the nearest hundredth. So here it is, 14.51. And because I'm talking about area, my original units were millimeters. I have millimeters squared, or 14.51 square millimeters. So those are both ways to write this. So there's my answer right there. What a time to be alive. All right, let's try another one here. Let's get it done, right? So here is another one. Find the area of a triangle with a height of 26 yards and a base of 15 yards. Well, the abbreviation for yards is YD, so YD. And we can use H for height and B for base. So here is a triangle, and the base is going to be B is 15 yards. And the height again is right here. So height is 26 yards. So the area of a triangle, the formula for that, again, area is the amount of space inside of a figure or an object. So how much space is inside of that triangle? This will be 1/2 times the length of the base times the length of the height. So we have 1/2 times 15 times 26. So what will that give us? Well, 1/2 times 15 times 26, that is going to be 195. And our original units were in yards, and we're talking about area, so it's square yards or yards squared. So 195 square yards. What a time to be alive. There is the answer right there. All right, so we have just a few more to go here. So let's find the area of the figure below. So remember, area is the space enclosed inside of a figure. So this is actually a what we call a parallelogram. All right. So how are you going to find the area of this parallelogram? Well, all right. This is going to be, well, it's just base times height. All right. So the part of the reason for this is because if you were to take this triangle right here and you were to move it over here, right? Move that right over here, you see that you would actually just have a rectangle. All right. So the area of a parallelogram here is just going to be base times height. So that will be 12 times 14, or 14 times 12. And if I do that, it is 12 times 14, that's 168. And the original units were in cm, which is centimeters. All right, so centimeters squared, or 168 square centimeters. What a time to be alive. So here is the answer right here. All right, let's try another one right now. All right, so find the area of a circle with radius of 17 kilometers. So kilometers, km. So kilometer, kilometers. All right, so find the area of a circle. So here is a circle, and the radius, r for radius, which is halfway across the circle from the center. That was 17 kilometers. And again, the area is this space enclosed inside of the circle. And they want us to use 3.14 for pi. So let's go ahead and do that today. So here is what this will actually look like here. So the area of a circle is going to, remember, there were two ways I said you could write it. One was pi times radius squared, or pi r squared, and the other one was pi times, right, d squared over 4. So remember, either is fine, but we're given the radius here, so we're just going to use that to our advantage. So we have 3.14, which they said to use for pi, and then the radius was 17, so times 17 squared. So 3.14 times 17 squared, that will be 907.46. So 907.46, and we see that the original units were km, so we have kilometers squared or square kilometers. So 907.46 square kilometers. What a time to be alive. All right, so here is the answer right here. All right, so now we have just two more problems left here. I wish I had time for more, but unfortunately I do not. All right, you might have time for more, but unfortunately, again, I don't. So let's find the area of the rectangle. So we can call one of them the length and one of them the width. So why don't we just do that? And I'll use the abbreviation L for length and W for width. So why don't we call this the width and that's the length. So width and length. All right, so the area of a rectangle is going to be the length times the width. So the length is going to be, well, that is 7.3 and the width is 8.9. So 7.3 times 8.9, that is 64.97, but the original units were centimeters, so this is centimeters squared, or you could write it as square centimeters. There is the answer. What a time to be alive. All right, we've come to the end almost. So here is the last one, unfortunately. Find the area of a trapezoid with a height of 7 feet and bases of 5 feet and 13 feet. All right, so let's go ahead and figure this out. So first, if you don't know what a trapezoid is, you'll have to figure that out. But good news, I'll draw a sample of one here, right here. So this is a trapezoid. It's a quadrilateral or a four-sided figure here. All right, where two of the bases are parallel like this. All right. So now we have that the height is 7 feet. So the height is right here. So height is 7 feet. And I will just call that H. And then one of the bases is 5 feet long. So I'll call this base number 1 is going to be 5 feet long. And base number 2 is going to be 13 feet long. So the abbreviation for feet is FT, FT, FT. So now here is another abbreviation that you may or may not have heard of before, but base number 1, I am just going to call it, just to make it so I don't have to write out base number 1 every time, like B1 like this, all right? So 5 feet, and B2 for base 2, 13 feet. So the area of a trapezoid is going to be 1/2, and then it's usually base 1 plus base 2 times the height, or the length of the base 1 plus the length of the base 2 times the height, all right? So when you have 1/2, and then we have base 1 with 5 and base 2, 13, and the height is 7. So 5 plus 13 is 18. So we have 1/2 times 18 times 7. And 1/2 of 18 is 9. And 9 times 7 is 63. And the original units were feet. And I'm talking about area. And again, that is the space enclosed inside of this trapezoid. So it is in feet squared or square feet. So 63 square feet. And there's the answer. What a time to be alive. So that is all I have for you today on area. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you're already looking forward to the next one. Thank you and have a great day.